have the opportunity to throw this program on, and I want to thank you for letting us have these wonderful teachers in the production of it. Amen. We would also like to thank our Spanish 1 students for preparing our awas and our Spanish 2 and 3 students for preparing these Mexican dishes for us to try. At the end of the program, the winners for the best awa and best Mexican dish will be announced.
Cinco de Mayo is a Mexican holiday celebrated every year to commemorate the persistence and pride of the Mexican people. You've probably seen it marked on your calendar and thought, the 5th of May, that must be like our 4th of July, and therefore decided that Cinco de Mayo is Mexico's Independence Day, but it's not. Mexico has a separate Independence Day, which is September 16th.
So what does Cinco de Mayo celebrate?
Good question, Bailey. A group of Spanish students have put together a skit for us to better understand the historical significance of Cinco de Mayo.
The story of Cinco de Mayo begins more than 150 years ago. It was a time when Mexico was trying to recover from a long period of wars. It cost the government millions of dollars to pay the soldiers and to buy the weapons for these wars. They needed to borrow money from foreign countries to pay for everything. The president of Mexico at the time was Benito Juarez.
There is only one way to save our nation, gentlemen. We must tell the countries that have loaned us money they must wait 2 years before we can repay them. Our poor people cannot be taxed anymore. They have suffered enough.
The 3 countries that loaned money to Mexico were England, Spain, and France. In France, Emperor Napoleon III and his wife, Eugenie, were hatching a plan.
It would be easy. Of course Mexico and the United States are friends, and President Lincoln would come to their aid. However, all of his soldiers are in a civil war now, so they won't be able to help them.
That's certainly true, Eugenie. We won't have any problem with the United States, but we need an excuse to take over the country.
What better excuse than Mexico not paying its debts on time? Who cares about Mexico's poor people? Who cares if Mexico says they will pay their debts later? We deserve that money now!
It certainly wouldn't be hard to defeat the Mexican army. Our army is one of the strongest in the world, our soldiers are the best trained, and they have the best equipment. It would be easy.
And then we can overthrow that horrible Mexican president, Benito Juarez.
Eugenie and Napoleon III had decided that once President Juarez had been overthrown, they would appoint a man named Maximilian to be the ruler of Mexico. Maximilian, they knew, would do whatever they told him.
And so it was decided France, along with Spain and England, would send diplomats and a huge army to Mexico to make the Mexicans pay up. The French, Spanish, and English leaders met with the Mexican government officials at the seaport of Veracruz in 1862.
The Mexicans said they would give the invaders everything in Mexico's treasury. The Spanish and English agreed to the offer and returned home, but the French leader, who wanted to take over Mexico, refused.
Their commander, Count de Lorance, marched with his troops towards the small town of Puebla, which lies south of Mexico City. Puebla was defended by General Ignacio Zaragoza and some 4,000 peasants.
My people of Mexico, we are outnumbered. The French have the most powerful army in the world, but we must defend our homeland. Mexico is for Mexicans, not French. We must fight bravely.
And they did. Although outnumbered by about 2 to 1, and although they were fighting the strongest army in the world, the brave farmers of Puebla routed the French army on May 5th, 1862.
Today, the Battle of Puebla stands for strength and determination of the Mexican people and is celebrated every year as Cinco de Mayo.
Viva Mexico! Viva!